All right, so let's do it live on a Tuesday edition. Merely Bo, Great Z, Cleveland Browns Daily. How you living, buddy?
Well,
how we doing?
We've got heat, so that's a.
The heat is on.
Turns out that's a big win.
The heat is on.
Yeah, very good.
So good.
So funny when you said that. I immediately thought the beat is on. Yeah,
yeah.
Because we're men of a particular
is that
age.
One or Cop 2? Or is it in both? I feel like that's the very first one when he steals when he's undercover with the cigarettes with the truck. G-Man, have you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop?
1984.
Yeah, good job out of you,
Glenn Fry.
Oh yeah,
of course. Yeah,
Eagles
Beverly Hills Cop. Song was published as a single and as the sixth track on the original of the album Beverly Hills Cop original motion picture soundtrack 1984. Man, it is what a just.
Do you have it? Do you have
hammer.
the set list?
Oh, there's an extended version that's 6 minutes and 4 seconds. How about that? I like that. Do I have what? The set list from that soundtrack?
Yeah.
You want that whole soundtrack? I got it for you.
How many do I know?
All right. New Attitude, performed by Patti LaBelle.
Cop 2 is Shakedown by Bob Seger.
Don't Get Stopped in Beverly Hills, performed by Shalimar.
Okay.
Do You Really Want My Love, performed by Junior. Emergency, performed by Rocky Robbins. The Neutron Dance, performed by the Pointer Sisters, a great one. The Heat Is On by Glenn Fry. Gratitude, Danny Elfman. Stir It Up, performed by Willis Cimbello and Patti LaBelle. Rock and Roll Me Again, performed by The Systems. And then Axel F., performed by Harold Faltermeyer.
He's the same Harold Faltermeyer who did the soundtrack for Top Gun.
That's right. Yes, he is, indeed.
Same guy.
I know that because I have that many of those songs in my Like Songs playlist on Spotify.
There you go. Your Like Songs.
Whenever I need to get juiced, I play the anthem.
Yeah.
And the original anthem's better than the Maverick version of the anthem.
I didn't realize they were different.
They are different. They changed
Really?
I'll call it the gong sound.
Okay.
I almost said the other.
Sure, you did, yeah.
The boom.
Yep.
Boom. You know that part?
Yeah,
but they change it. It's a different sounding, and it goes on. It's a little more. There's a little more electric guitar as well, I think, in the orig.
Yeah.
It's good. Subtle differences.
Very good.
Subtle differences, but important.
That's when it mattered, man.
By the way, there's another version of the soundtrack that contains the song BHC I Can't Stop by Rick James in place of Emergency by Rocky Robbins. Feels like that's an upgrade.
Yeah. I think anytime that's involved.
Yeah, Rick James.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Senior Bowl's going on.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get Gibbe to get us some commentary from down there. He tells me nobody can talk. There's practice going on.
So I can corroborate. I hate to corroborate Gibby, but I will because a similar issue I was having in the AM. Gibby's.
Put my camera on so we can see Gibby.
Oh, the victory lap begins.
Yeah, can we get him on camera?
Truly.
Let's go.
We tried to get a bunch of people on in the morning, and they're like, can't really do anything.
I bet Siciliano's listening, and if he
isn't he working?
I bet he could call
yes,
in and
he
give
was
us.
just doing
I want to know. He's our ear. He's our eyes.
He's our eyes and ears.
We want to know what he's saying.
Until he actually watches practice and has availability, what's he going to tell us?
Talk about hand measurements. Those are always.
We know what the hand measurements are. They're tiny.
Jalen Milroe.
Hands are all tiny.
Very
They're all
small,
tiny.
Small hands.
Big whoppers, tiny hands.
At Christmas when they do that train that goes through to Peninsula that's like the Polar Express that they do the Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
I heard that was disappointing for some youths that I'm fond of.
That was the great.
Wait a second, Dad.
That was Beebsy, man.
Yeah.
Wait a second, Dad. Those aren't real elves. They're fake elves. They're not even small. That was the quote. They're not even small. Yeah, he was on it.
Man.
So, that's it. When you did the small hands and all that. That's the first. They're not even small, Dad.
Small hands for me, I think of they're like carnies, nomads, Small hands smell like cabbage.
Yeah. Dr. Evil.
Austin Powers, that's right.
Those don't, you and I think, discussed that before. Those don't get the rotation that I think
I don't
that
understand
they should. I feel like they all hold up.
They do. My wonder on it is that they play into a great many stereotypes that maybe they feel are in today's society not welcome.
Really? Probably.
That's the only thing I can think of. They're comedic gold.
Yeah, they
literally
all hold up.
gold member.
Gold member, yeah. The last one, yeah. No, they were all good. All of those were great.
I love when you say Austin Powers Faja.
Faja. That's right.
That has
Yeah.
the big fella in that one as well. Getting my belly.
That's 2, right? Yeah, that's 2. The big guy's in 2. That's with Heather Graham.
Yep.
And
isn't Beyonce? Is it Beyonce?
No, she's in 3.
Beyonce's in 3 with Goldmember.
She's with Goldmember. Yeah. And Michael Caine's in that one. In the third one, the second one is
Michael Caine. Is it Michael Caine in? Is he the Faja?
Yeah,
He's the Faja.
Yeah,
And then there's Basil Exposition.
He's in all of them.
He's in all of them.
Yeah, it's great.
He's a Shakespearean actor, Basil Exposition.
I don't know that that's his real name, but I think that is the actor's.
That's the character.
That guy's locked in. Yeah,
that's the character's name.
Yeah,
he's Basil movie character comes right up. He is played by. What I want to say. It's giving me a whole long thing about him. Who is he?
Who is this? Who is this guy?
All right, I'm going to find it. Michael York, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michael York, the great Michael York.
The great Michael York. Yeah,
Turns
we've seen
out
him stuff.
As he aged, he became somewhat unrecognizable.
Oh, my cow. I didn't have that. Did you?
No, I thought. I'll tell you.
Seems wrong. What happened?
I mean, that's quite a transformation, dude.
From this?
Yes, that's quite a transformation.
Yeah, no, that's not exactly.
It's a little bit.
That's and then the glasses don't help. I mean, it's a very aggressive look, and not fitting of. I think somebody went askew with a scalpel. Is my guess on how that worked out. All right. I know it. I don't understand.
What's going on?
I don't know.
What is going on?
All right. Hey,
Senior Bowl.
We'll get back to that. We should get the news out. Senior offensive assistant Bill Musgrave goes to quarterback coach. He's been on the staff the past couple of years. He was an offensive coordinator at Cal most recently. He has been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
He is the epitome of wide zone, all of that, everything that you'd want that to be. West Coast in there, too. Offensive coordinator for the Eagles all the way back in 98. Jaguars from 03 to 04. Vikings 11 to 13. Raiders 15-16. Broncos 17 and 18. A ton of quarterbacks coached, including your boy,
who led the NFL in passing yards that year, Jeff George. 1997, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's off the top of my head.
Have you asked Bill about Jeff?
No, but we're going to have to break it down.
Okay, are you sure you want to?
Yeah, Jeff George was great that year.
I know, but what if he's like, he was great, but the guy's a crud? Like, do you want your hero to be?
Agree to disagree.
This has happened.
Agree to disagree, Bill.
Sorry, Bill.
What did I say? 29 and 7.
29 and 7. I think
29 and 9. Not bad for 1997. Jeff George
nailed it.
3,917 yards. I knew that. Also was sacked 58 times that year. Get off my guy.
I wasn't on. I just
By the way,
was saying.
In 1997, who threw 29 and 9? Those are like numbers of.
Yeah, we don't see that.
You don't see that then.
Yep.
Might have been the greatest quarterback season.
Why don't you barnstorm the next time, like at the Super Bowl when they do like the Hall of Fame electors meeting? You need to just bomb in there, and present the Jeff George case.
Yeah, I mean,
feel like you're capable.
It feels easy. I mean, guys, an absolute stud. Absolute stud. By the way, clutch too. I don't know if you know this or not, but in the year 1995, led the NFL with 4 game-winning drives. Second time in his career, he had a 4 game-winning drives. This guy's a clutch machine.
Clutch machine.
Golly.
What'd he do?
What did he do?
What'd I do? Every time they moved off him. What'd I do? All they did was perform. What do you want? You want numbers? I got numbers.
June Jones got into a fight with him, a fracas on the sidelines, 3 games into 1996, my freshman year, when I got season tickets for the Falcons just so I could watch some Jeff George, coming off of a year in which he led them to the playoffs with 4,143 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. I mean, his TD to interception ratios were tremendous in his heyday. And then June Jones gets in a fight with him so that he could play Bobby Hebert? Who, by the way, I've done now.
This is unbelievable. You know the Chat GTP thing or the AI?
Yeah.
I literally put into Google, is Jeff George a good person? That's what I put into Google. This is what it's.
We have it on good authority. He's not.
Here's the AI overview.
What?
Hold on. Here's the AI overview.
It's going to say he's aloof.
Based on available information, Jeff George is generally not considered a good person in the sense of having a positive reputation within the NFL, as he was often described as having a big ego, being difficult to coach, and having conflicts with teammates and coaches. Despite his natural talent as a quarterback, however, some sources mention him being a good family man off the field.
Maybe we should ask Bill. He's right there.
There he is.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Nope. Looks like a little care package, too.
I don't think you want Bill's opinion.
Soundproof. What? I don't know. They had a pretty good year that year, and they brought him back the following year. So it feels like it was a positive
Key
situ.
points about Jeff George's reputation.
Stop it.
Poor team chemistry, on-field outbursts, unfulfilled potential.
I'm going to remind
funny
you
how
something.
It's funny though, like how how that AI works now. That's pretty good.
By the way, Gibbe, your victory lap, pretty short-lived because enough with the clowns had it with no stream. He's all over you.
Well, that's out of our control. The actual streaming site, when you go to it, it doesn't even have like the homepage. It just comes up and says technical difficulties.
No, that's great.
Did you select that as the streaming site?
Our head of
Cleveland
IT
Browns Daily?
is actually working on it.
We're
That's
working on it.
above our pay grade right now.
That sounds a
very
lot like passing the blame to me. Man. Don't look here. Look over there. That's
there.
the problem there.
Over there and look over there.
That's the problem.
I don't know. The description that you just gave Jeff George sounds like Nathan's a girl.
Poor chemistry. Generally,
But a
just
good family man.
So
I
nice.
said
Yeah,
good
a
family
great,
man.
Great of any of authority.
Yeah.
Great.
Upon
great
my
man.
arrival here.
Great family man.
The Browns are okay. You're not going to like that Zagura guy.
Yeah, he's a
a
crud.
real jug. He's a real jerk. Real crud. Guy sucks. It's interesting. It seems like
Gee,
the nice,
man, how can you sit idly by while this is
life.
happening?
Seems like he's
His
always
career
in a good
depends on it. That's why.
mood. Look at that, G-Man. So good to have him back.
Yeah, he's
Look,
I stand with Zagura.
yes, that's right, G-Man.
G-Man's on it.
Yeah, G-Man.
Man, I have a job for you to do. It's going to go be hanging out with the Ukrainian cleaning crew.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Those are wonderful people.
They're out there doing
They're
God's work.
unbelievably great people. They will get him back to where he needs to
Get
be.
him where
No,
he
he
goes
is
right
right where he needs to be. The big B's and the big G. Let's go.
Have you ever done the Senior Bowl? Like back in the old days, did you go?
No, never.
Did you guys ever go?
No.
Senior Bowl?
I know some people here who went there and really liked it.
It was electric.
Yes. Sure. We're not on the stream. I don't need to reference the camera. Thriving. Yeah. No, this is the start of it. My guess is that it probably, for those that go, it's probably like the Combine, except you get a ton of face-to-face time with folks around the league. Even more so
and
than
there's
the Combine.
nothing there in Mobile, Alabama.
That's right.
You're not even in the metropolis of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
so
not.
I've heard it's intense, not the most fun, but some good football stuff. Real quick, just to tie a ribbon on this Jeff George conversation, I want to remind you in the year of our Lord 1999, when Jeff George turned in what would be fair to say one of the great quarterback seasons of our time with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if you remember that. Randall Cunningham actually got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff George comes in, and in 10 games, Jeff George throws for 2,816 yards and 23 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then they go in the playoffs. He whoops Dallas in week 1 of the playoffs in the wild card round.
Even back then, Dallas was getting whooped in the first round.
Throws for 212 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rating of 117. And then in the very next game, in a shootout with the greatest show on turf, he throws for 423, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick, and loses 49-37. So in his career, 2 games, averages 318 yards, 3.5 touchdowns, a half of a pick, and a rating of 109 in the playoffs. Clutch. What a human being. Chris Carter at the
Was
end
he
of that
brought
season.
back?
No. Chris Carter at the end of that season, he went to go to Washington.
Here's the deal.
No, he went to go to
Okay,
Washington
finish
to
your point.
start.
Then I just want to make a point.
He went to go to Washington to start, which did
Why
not
couldn't
work
he
out.
start there?
Because Randall was back. Randall got hurt.
I know, but he was at the end of the line. Randall
So
was in Minnesota.
I'll have you know, Chris Carter at the end of that season said he was contemplating retirement. Said, I will only play as long as Jeff George is playing. Now, it turned out that was not true.
No.
He continued to play, and Jeff George was not a Viking. But that's how much Chris Carter enjoyed playing with him.
Chris Carter and Jeff George, based on the AI description of Jeff George, would be very similar.
Randall Moss loved him.
Very similar.
Randall Moss that year.
Chris a little tough.
Chris Carter with Jeff George, thank you very little. 90 catches, 1241, a league-high 13 touchdowns, first-team All-Pro. Randall Moss wasn't, even though he had 14, 13, and 11. I mean, they were dynamic. Jake Reed was even getting in on the fun. They had Robert Smith.
He must be, and I know you have your blinders for him, but he must be such a certain personality that people, because he has statistically produced, that everyone wants to move off.
G-Man, I have an off-season homework assignment for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, he's ready.
Hit me.
Goes without saying.
I want you to book Jeff George for this program.
Track him down.
Track him down.
Where is he?
Get him. Tell him you're the host of the show. This is how Dabo and I became friends. Maybe me and Jeff George will become friends. Dabo told his producer, you need to go ahead and get Zagura on the phone. This is a guy in Australia. Tracks me down.
Yep.
Was relentless in his pursuit. Got me, and now Dabo and I are best friends and brothers from like another continent. It's unbelievable. Parallel lives in many ways. He's a great human. So that's what I want you to do, and I think there's a good chance. There's a good chance that he and I can become best friends. Of my childhood sports heroes, I've met the only one that I have not met and talked to personally is Jeff George. So I would like to check that box.
We're going to make that happen for you. I want you to live your dreams, Nathan Zagura.
Thank you. I mean, I'll tell you what. Hold on a second. We have another data point, though, of somebody who absolutely loved Jeff George on this program. Eric Metcalf.
Yeah, he did.
Metcalf loved him. Loved playing with him. Wouldn't you know? Pretty sure that was Metcalf's only 1,000-yard receiving season of his career. Came with Jeff George as the trigger man.
I can't get a where are they now for Jeff George.
1985, he had 1,189 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 104 catches with Jeff George as his quarterback.
So he still goes on shows. He went on a show last year in Indy about Anthony Richardson. So he still goes on some shows, but there's not a whole lot of like what he's up to now.
G-Man's going to find him. He's going to find him. He's going to make it happen. Why? Because it deserves it. The people want it.
They'll say, please, G-Man, it's too much winning.
We'll get him to we'll get him, and we can even tie it in.
Too much winning, G-Man.
We can tie it into Musgrave. Musgrave, remember back in 97 when he led the league in passing? How was that relationship with Billy Musgrave?
Yeah. Jared Luganbill, Jeff George was Jay Cutler before there was Jay Cutler. Maybe as a personality, but not statistically. Cutler never put up seasons like he did statistically.
Cutler had to have a 4,000er with Shanahan, don't you think?
Maybe with Shanahan, never with Chicago because they never had a
45, 26, 25, and 18 in 2000. He never had the touchdown-interception ratio of my man Jeff George, I can promise you. I can assure you of that. But Cutler, I kind of like that. Cutler led the league twice in interceptions. Jeff George never. Ridiculous.
I was always bitter towards George because I had an Illinois rookie card of his.
Yeah, that could have been something.
And you think, boy, number one pick in the draft, that's going to turn into something. Just never did.
He went to Indy though, that was a tough place. I don't remember who were on those teams. I don't think there were people of great prominence.
No,
like on his rookie team. Let's see who was.
A lot of those teams were really bad. No depth. Andre Rison would have been there. He was there.
So
in Indy at that time.
Was that part of the trade?
I thought he was in. Was he in the George trade?
I think
get
so.
Him
yeah. So
to Atlanta.
Leading receiver was Jesse Hester.
Oofta.
Bill Brooks.
Billy Brooks.
Never heard of Bill Brooks.
Who could forget Billy?
And then the fullback Albert Bentley.
I remember Albert Bentley. He was on Tecmo.
Yeah.
Super Tecmo.
They had Eric Dickerson was on that team. That must have been the end of the rope. Yeah, no Bad Moon. I'm pretty sure Bad Moon Rising was in the trade.
Deal for George.
Yeah.
Because what, Atlanta had the pick?
I believe that's right. And it was like Chris Hinton.
Oh, that's right. It was a bevy of players that went.
Yeah.
And Atlanta felt good because they already had Chris Miller. And remember, Atlanta around that time drafted a little-known quarterback out of Southern Miss that went by the name
Brett
of
Favre.
Brett Favre.
Yeah.
I came through that card the other day as we were looking.
A Favre?
Yeah, the boys were all NBC's slinging cards.
Here it is.
Like a maniac right now.
Oh, wait. This was his. He had traded. They only have trade data since 1994. He was traded by the Colts to the Falcons as well. First round, Bryant Young, which was traded to the Niners. Bryant Young, who's just went in the Hall of Fame, right? 1994 third-round pick, James Bostic. And 1996 first-round pick, 19th overall, that became Marvin Harrison.
How about that?
Well.
Yeah.
How about it? I bet he could still sling it. Last played in 1991. I bet he's still slinging it.
Richest contract in rookie history. 46 touchdowns, 41 picks in 35 starts. 49, rather, career starts. Lost 35 of 49 starts. Only winning season 1992. Before 93, refused to report to camp.
Demanded a trade. They refused it, and he eventually returned to the team, and they traded him to the Falcons after the 93 season.
There you go. There you go.
What
Every once in a while, you want to go down the Jeff George wormhole, see what's there.
These guys, I mean, his playoff stats speak for themselves.
How do we have Jameis Winston's Escalade gone missing? That's real?
What?
That is, boy, that's a tough thing.
Losing an Escalade?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is real. This is real?
It's real.
Well, I can't click on it because it's on a piece of paper, so I had to find it. I don't have any details. All right. Here we go. Wow. Oh, during cross-country transport. Was not stolen in the greater Ohio, right?
No, we're good quality people here.
No, Jameis's SUV was stolen during a cross-country transport from his Hunting Valley home last week. The Escalade reportedly on its way to California, towed by a local company, but was first dropped off at a home in Detroit for transferal, was promptly stolen. Oh, my gosh, that's a Beverly Hills Cop scheme.
Yeah, they believe the receiver of the vehicle was fraudulent.
Yeah, there you go. He's got some insurance on that. You're safe.
Take care of Jameis.
Yeah, you
He's
want
a fine man.
Yeah. That is that's the plot of a movie though. That's a pretty good little scheme he got going. To have a whole truckload of vehicles dropped off. I mean, that's kind of a Sopranos move.
Yep.
When you run that, when you got the guy at the drop off, and then you can pick off the ones you want. Nobody knows. Nobody's the wiser.
Yeah,
to
none
it.
the wiser.
What's the headline at Senior Bowl? I know we're going to do a little Senior Bowl stuff in a second.
Jalen Milroe, small hands.
There you go.
I don't know if we talked to somebody who was there.
Not going to happen today. Maybe next week. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll get into a little bit of the Senior Bowl. You'll hear from Jalen Milroe down at the Senior Bowl. Some comments about our new offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your
Are we up?
Cleveland
Does this mean we're up?
Browns. I don't know. That was up before and we weren't up, so I don't think it means anything. Yeah. It's Senior Bowl week, important week for the Browns. In the past, some guys who rostered by the Browns from Senior Bowl weeks in the past: Jerome Ford, DeJuan Jones, Ronnie Hickman, Harrison Bryant, Isaiah McGuire, Tony Fields, James Hudson, Nick Harris, A.J. Green, Isaiah Thomas, Demetric Felton, Perry and Winfrey. He was fun. I remember his introductory press conference. Mike Hall.
All gas, no break.
All gas. Jamari Thrash, Nathaniel Watson, and Javian Cohen. Those are the lists at that. You need a couple of these in order for you to have an operation, especially in the situation that we're in, where we have resources tied up in a lot of veteran players and guys who aren't going to necessarily be playing next year. You need to hit. We get a lot of picks, and these mid to late round picks, we need to hit a couple of them.
My guess is that you're going to be trading around. We have 12 picks, and yes, and 5 in the first 102. That's going to be where you really have to make some hay, and I think you package some of these later ones, try to get up there as well, do all the different things that you can. But, yeah, you're going to be paying attention, and you're going to have good insight. You got Bubba Ventrone as the head coach of one of the teams, and then you've got Jacques Césaire on our defensive line coach on the other side. I think, is he a DC? I think he's a DC. On the other side. So you're going to have some contact with both of these rosters. And, yeah, it's important. It's important to find, the players that you like. You're not going to get really many of the headliners at the quarterback position. I don't think Ward, Sanders, even now Will Howard, I'm not saying he's a headliner or first-round pick, but because of the late season, he's not going to participate and throw.
I don't think Quinn is either.
And Quinn's not either?
No.
So, yeah. So Milroe's really the only guy that's
down
thrown.
there. I haven't heard. Is Jackson Dart down there? G-Man, have you seen him?
He is on the accepted invitees list. I don't know that he's actually down there. I know Dylan Gabriel is down there.
Oh, yeah. I saw him. He was in like an Oregon helmet with a
UCF
and
Oklahoma.
and Oklahoma logos.
Yep.
That was cool.
The kid from Louisville's down there. What's it, Tyler Show?
Show. He was at Purdue.
Okay.
And then followed Brom from Purdue to Louisville. And I did see like the PFF guys being all jacked up about him. So, yeah. But, yeah, the headliner here at quarterback is Milroe. He was at the Senior Bowl and had this to say about Tommy Rees. Maybe.
Coach Rees gave me an opportunity to expand my knowledge with the game of football. I was a first-year starter last season in 2023, and he was the first OC of that season that I had as being a first-year starter. And for me, the amount of knowledge that I learned from him, number one, with him playing the position, number two, with him coaching, I've gained so much knowledge, respect, and the best thing about it is that we worked together through that process, and it was so fun. Just from the start of the season to the end of the season, the growth and everything that comes about it, that was all the working in the dark that we were able to achieve, able to see as a group, when we were working together. I have so much respect for Coach Rees, so much respect to him as a person as well, just to be able to build a relationship with my time in college. Although it was a short period of time, I learned so much. And so I appreciate him because, as a first-year starter, being able to learn each and every game week, under him, it was amazing. So I definitely appreciate the grind and all that was put in that season.
All right, there you go. Jalen Milroe on Tommy Rees. Tommy said the same when he was in here with us in terms of, as he said with us last week when he was in here, is probably the most proud he's been of what a team accomplished in a season that one year
was
at
incredible.
Alabama.
Hey, Previtz.
Oh, he's got it too. There we go. Let's go. The great Previtz.
I love it.
Official tartan of the United States Navy.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's very good.
That was a good one.
Very good. Previtz in here.
I think he's
Got
coming in.
Big luminary meetings he's got going on. Yeah.
Well,
this is a
man
big
of
one. He's
great
a man
consequence.
Of course. Yeah. Very good.
Trying to plan out some special accoutrements for the Navy's birthday.
It's coming up. It's a big one. Big one indeed.
About as big as it gets.
Yeah. Certainly is. So there you go. That's Jalen Milroe down at the Senior Bowl on Tommy Rees. One of the common things that you hear around this quarterback group, this class, is that this is not a great quarterback class. Here is Senior Bowl Executive Director Jim Nagy on that topic.
I think there's some guys that the league is still trying to figure out for different reasons. Like last year, it's certainly not last year. I don't know if anyone in this class would be in the top 6 of the guys last year. I don't know any of these guys, or Bo Nix or Penix or J.J. McCarthy. That's a unique class. I think we're going to look back in 15 years, the class of 2024 is one of the best classes ever.
Again, it's certainly other people think differently. I mean, if just where you look at where Mel Kiper has a quarterback ranked, and even you know where Jeremiah does, but it's a strange thing to say to try to drum up interest in your
sure is
in your practices and in your game.
It sure is. Yeah, I noted that as well. That was odd if you're trying to get folks to be jacked up about attending the Senior Bowl or going to the game. Does the game even? It's all the practices.
It's all the
right?
practices.
That's kind of what's the most critical thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's there he goes.
There he goes.
Man of consequence.
Great consequence.
Yeah, I just reject it. I reject the notion that that there's no quarterbacks to be had here. I
reject it too. I totally reject it. I you know where I'm at. Again, doesn't have to happen in this draft, although I would, if you're there, I would like it to. And we're going to see a mock draft where, like, if you have the pick of any quarterback in this draft, I think you got it. There's got to be somebody you believe in.
There has to be.
This pick has to end up one way or another. Easiest way is just to do it right there at 2, but it has to end up in a real shot at a rookie, highly regarded, elite rookie quarterback.
Yep. That's it.
That's it. And there's no guarantees that you can always trade up. People say, it's always so easy to trade. There's no guarantee that you can trade up.
In fact, there's a guarantee the other way. And that is if it's a highly coveted class, like let's just say Arch Manning is superb this season at Texas. And let's just say, despite what everybody keeps telling us, that he's going to play at least 2 years at Texas as the starting quarterback, that he says, you know what, I'm number 1 overall. I'm coming out next year. I got a big arm. I'm a big kid. I'm athletic. I led Texas to the national championship, fill in the blank, blah, blah, blah. There is no compensation that would have a team give up the number 1 pick in the draft in that scenario. None. There was nothing that could have got you to number 1 when Trevor Lawrence was in that draft. Nothing. There were no save for giving Shad Khan your franchise.
Yeah.
Quite literally. There's no amount of players or compensation that the Colts would have taken to trade out of Andrew Luck. You don't do it ever. And so this notion that like you can just go do it. No, you can't just go get the guy you want. You can move up in a draft and hope it works out. Many teams have done that. Very rarely at number 1 overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need the circumstance that Carolina had. You need the circumstance that Tennessee had with Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Where just in the previous year you drafted your quarterback. That's what you need to be able to move up to number 1.
Yeah.
Those type of circumstances. And they're just rare. Very rare that you get them. All right. We've had a bunch of hirings in the National Football League over the last couple of days. A real surreal press conference down in Dallas as well. We will get to all of that around the league coming up next.
I think we can air that.
To Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet at $25 or more. Get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to go around the league, presented by Leaf Filter, official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. Let's start in Dallas. If I were to tell you that a year ago today,
nope, wouldn't believe you.
1 year from now, Bill Belichick would spend the weekend with the number 1 rated quarterback in the 2026 class while recruiting for North Carolina, and Brian Schottenheimer would be introduced as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Wouldn't it have been just probably more likely that the two would have been inverted? You could have seen Schottenheimer like, I can't get a head coaching job in the league. Let me try this college thing, see if I can get it. I'm 51. I've been trying for years. Nobody's sniffing it at it anymore. I'm going to go the college game. I'm going to try that. Go the Pete Carroll route, although acknowledging Carroll was a 2-time head coach before he took the job at USC, and see how that goes. And you would have absolutely said Belichick to the Cowboys. Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite.
Quite.
Yeah.
It's stunning. It's stunning. And to hire Brian Schottenheimer to be the head coach of the Cowboys, never been a head coach before. His heyday was over a decade ago when he was like at the peak of his
late 2000s
regard.
Jets. Yeah.
Right. It's a
Rex Ryan.
It's stupefying. It says to me, and I could be wrong, but it says to me that the top coaches don't want to go there.
Imagine, I mean,
why not just keep McCarthy?
I think that Mike wanted a contract extension, and Jarrah said no.
I mean, by the way, and he's joking. He said, I should have been a coach.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an owner because I'd make more. Like, you've made a lot more money as the owner.
You've
my
won.
friend. Yeah,
you won.
You're doing just fine.
Nice little tidy investment on that $150 that you bought the Cowboys for.
Yeah.
Worked out pretty well for you. No, I think it's – I mean, just think of this from our perspective. How many times a year does ownership speak, like have a press conference?
Twice.
Usually once at the outing.
Maybe 3.
And then
maybe
usually
once middle and end.
There's usually one postseason,
Yeah.
and then there's one at usually the Greenbrier if we do that,
Yeah.
like they do that. It's 2 or 3 times at most a year. Mike Brown only talks at the beginning of the season.
He's back.
Look, he's back.
He's back.
Oh, there he goes. He's got some sort of a little something there.
Like a bar.
Mike Brown talks at the beginning of the season and only for turtle soup,
Yep.
when turtle soup is served. And Rooney ownership in Pittsburgh, they speak after the season. And maybe they speak 1 or 2 times before. I don't know that. But they definitely speak after the season because they just spoke a couple of days ago.
Yep.
So that's it as well. Jarrah talks after every game and then once a week on his own radio show that he owns.
Correct.
So it's a different type of coach that's going to sign up for that.
Yes.
That's a very different type of coach.
Oh,
So
and not to mention that he is the GM.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
He's the one who's going to decide who you get or who you don't.
Somehow Jerry got into the Hall of Fame. Somehow Bob Kraft still is not, which makes no sense. If one's in, how the other couldn't be. Jerry's next trophy and maybe the last trophy he ever gets his hands on is going to be an Emmy Award because he's 1-1 for that Landman scene, baby.
You think so?
Is
Is that enough?
It was an 8-minute guest starring. I'm not saying lead. I'm not saying supporter, but they have a category that's like guest spot on in an Emmy Award-winning guest spot.
Just wanted to work with my kids.
It's an 8-minute bomb.
It was great.
Crushed it.
Just want to work with my kids.
He did it in front of Ham and Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Academy Award winner, Emmy Award winner. And he owned it.
Yeah. I don't think he was acting. I think that was.
They just said, tell us how you bought the Cowboys. They just hit go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I wanted to work with my kids.
Incredible. Here he is on the hire of Brian Schottenheimer.
Got here taking shots. Good things have happened. Let me tell you something. There's some stuff to be had over there where not many people go. There is. Don't think for 1 minute I won't take a shot. This was risky. This is risky. But by the same token, how often can you take a risk? If you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience. I think this might make something special.
That didn't even make sense, some of that. But
the logic that because it's out of his comfort zone and not what people
it's not out of his comfort zone. He was already there.
Well, yeah.
It's not out of his comfort zone. Out of his comfort zone would have been hiring Lincoln Riley or Ryan Day or Steve Sarkisian.
But
Or out of his comfort
isn't
zone
that
would have
more
been
like
hiring
hiring Jones and Switzer, big college coaches?
He hasn't done that in forever.
But he's done that. I don't know if
Years
he's
ago.
hired a guy. When's the last time?
I guess established would be more like if he tried to woo Kyle from San Francisco or Kevin O'Connell or something like that, or McVay. That would probably be out of his comfort zone, and then giving them all the control. That would probably be that would majorly be out of his comfort zone. I don't know. It's wild.
What was Jason Garrett before he was the Cowboys head coach?
Offensive coordinator for Parcells. He was a quarterback coach of the.
So he was in there.
He was
for
in
a
there.
long
Yeah,
time.
he was in there.
Schottenheimer was there 1 year? Because didn't Kellen Moore just leave, or maybe 2 years?
2 years, because Kellen was. I think he was with
Chargers
with Staley,
Yep.
and then this last year in Philly. So a couple of years of it. Here's Schottenheimer on the job.
The objective and the main thing is we want to win a Super Bowl. One of the things about me taking over this prestigious position is we can hit the ground running pretty fast because I don't need to learn the decision makers. I don't need to learn the quarterback. I don't need to learn how things work. And so I feel like we're kind of ahead of the curve with some of these other teams that made changes.
By the way, just breaking right now, Matt Eberflus will be the defensive coordinator in Dallas.
Yeah, which, felt like we kind of even.
This one I thought was
Knew that was
interesting from the new coach press conference. This was Aaron Glenn on Aaron.
Hold on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're just moving on from Jared. We're not even going to get into the good stuff.
Well, we don't have the good stuff. We don't have the audio of the good stuff. No, we don't have the
What's
audio.
the good
Aaron
stuff?
Rodgers be your quarterback?
No. Hold on, Aaron Glenn. Hold on Aaron Glenn just a second. No, we don't have that audio.
Just Google it.
You Google it. In the meantime, here's Aaron Glenn in his press conference in New York on his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Will Aaron Rodgers be your quarterback?
You're going to continue to ask me the same question and get the same answer. We're still in evaluation mode. So for anybody else going to ask that, I'm going to give you the same answer. So don't waste your time. We're clear.
Well, let's answer. What do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner. A winner. Mental and physical toughness. When you talk about that process, you're not going to get me.
Well, let me ask you this. Parcells, I know you guys are close. He always
That's
said.
Parcells.
Okay.
I'm Aaron Glenn.
Okay, so you don't.
That's Parcells. I'm Aaron Glenn.
Okay.
I think this is going to be fireworks with that media and him.
I like it.
I did too, but I don't think it lasts long.
When you're already
You better win, baby.
You're in your first press conference and you're third-personing yourself?
Yeah. He's third-personing himself. If you're all going to ask that, this is the answer you're going to get. You can keep trying. You're not going to catch
Parcells.
me.
This is Aaron Glenn.
Like, you're going to have that type of buckle in, buddy.
Yeah. Well, he said that. Didn't he tell people to strap in their seatbelts and get ready?
Yeah, that'll be
wild ride.
Non-committal for Aaron Rodgers from Aaron Glenn at his press conference.
Yeah, I don't. Now he went against him at the end, I would imagine, they crossed over at some point, right? When Glenn was the DC and Rodgers would have still been in Green Bay.
Maybe for a year. Was Campbell against – how long's Campbell been there? Is this 5 years for him? Maybe a couple of years.
Aaron Glenn's been the DC in Detroit since 2021.
Rodgers has played 23 and 4. So, 21 and 22 he would have been in Green Bay.
That's right.
How many quarterback jobs are even open where Rodgers would be even a remote fit?
All right, you're just calling open? That's the word we're going to go with?
Well, open and not a young quarterback or in a position. Nobody in the East?
Jets. Us. Steelers.
Yep.
Steelers, Browns. Vegas.
Yep.
In the South, Tennessee.
They're picking 1 overall. They're not doing that with a young team.
According to Daniel Jeremiah, they're taking Abdul Carter. So, who knows? Tennessee, not Houston, not Jacksonville. Indy, maybe?
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah, Dome.
In the NFC, you got the Giants. You've got
nobody.
In the North,
nobody.
No one. In the West,
nobody.
No one.
South, no
and
one.
In the South, New Orleans.
Well, they still have Carr.
Is he still under a big contract?
It's really hard to get out from under that deal.
Okay. Not Atlanta, not Carolina, not Tampa. So that's it. So
that's it.
It's Giants, Jets. Interesting. The NFC is in a much better quarterback position than the
They
AFC.
are. They've all either just drafted him or in position to. Yeah.
Giants, Jets, Steelers, Browns, Vegas, Tennessee, Indy. I mean, not a lot of markets for him.
No. Pittsburgh, honestly, would seem. I mean, I could see him and Arthur Smith button heads a lot, but
Oh, God, it'd be great.
Be great to see that.
I'd rather have them take him than Fields.
All right, Pete Carroll was hired in Vegas to be the coach of the Raiders. Here is Pete on filling the stadium with Raiders fans, something they've struggled to do.
I'm so proud to be part of that and recognizing that we get to represent our following. And here in Las Vegas, to do it in this setting right here, where people can't wait to come see us. They can't wait to see what we're all about, wherever our fans come from. We do want to fill our stadium up with our guys. I know that we have a good draw for people from out of town. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mark, settle down a little bit.
Yeah, that was Marshawn Lynch.
Was it really Marshawn Lynch in the background?
Marshawn Lynch came to his presser.
Well, played for the Raiders and played for
got
Pete.
Fired up, yeah.
Yeah. He also commented a lot in that press conference about Tom Brady and his role with the Raiders and how instrumental it was in his decision to come to Las Vegas, which leads me to further reiterate I cannot believe that he's still calling NFL games, and I'm guessing it's done after the Super Bowl.
I think it's going to be, too.
Got to be. Liam Cohen was introduced as the head coach in Jacksonville. I've seen a lot from his availability. It's an awkward one, but awkward availabilities have turned into good coaching hires too. Yeah. This was a moment. I don't know what this is in reference to, but this was Liam Cohen. Go ahead.
Duval.
One more time, please.
Duval.
The whole time I was down there from 01 to 07, I don't remember anybody in Jacksonville referring to themselves as Duval. I don't remember it. Maybe that's a new marketing thing over the last 15 years or so, but I don't know why you would like
Duval.
Jacksonville is, if memory serves,
Cuyahoga.
Right? Jacksonville, if memory serves, is the entire county of Duval is Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I think surface area, like square miles, is one of the biggest cities in America, if not the biggest. Because basically, as soon as you get into the county, I'm pretty sure it's all Jacksonville.
Okay.
I think I have that right.
Listen,
but
say it with authority. Say it with your chest.
It's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure there's something to that where Jacksonville, the city of Jacksonville, like it doesn't have suburbs. Like it's all just officially Jacksonville, I think.
Are Jacksonville and Duval County the same? And it is the seat
it
of
looks
Duval
like
County.
that is the case. Yeah.
Do I have that right, G-Man?
Officially the city of Jacksonville and Duval County.
Yeah, it's all one.
It was the largest city by area in the contiguous United States as of 2020.
Good job out of you.
10th largest by population in 2023. Who'd have
That's
thought
city, not metro.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's like city Cleveland versus Cleveland Metro is much bigger.
All land in Duval County is considered part of Jacksonville, except for 4 independent municipalities of Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, and Neptune Beach.
There you go. All right, good job out of me. Decent memory.
You're a very smart man.
Yeah.
Learn it. You're a good man.
I think Columbus is like the 13th largest city in America. Yeah. But that's just the city, not suburbs and all that. Then that's when we catch up a little bit there. Additionally, out of the NFL, the Super Bowl matchup is official. Chiefs in road whites, Eagles in home green. Be something if the Eagles could wear the Kelly green. I don't think they can though, right?
The home green. Kelly green would be great.
Yeah. All right, we got some positional reviews coming your way. We're in the cornerback room next. Second hour of the program coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for another edition of your positional reviews. We are in the cornerback room, and for some perspective, we turn to Dr. Z.
Well, this was a room that in many ways didn't go the way that I think that this team thought it was going to go. On one hand, you had tremendous performance from Denzel Ward, played in 16 games, led the league in pass breakups with 19, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, named to his 4th career Pro Bowl. He leads the NFL in passes defense since 2018. He is the only player ever to have 7 straight seasons with 2 or more interceptions and 10 or more passes defense to start their career. Made his 4th Pro Bowl this season. Signed the new contract. Obviously, he is going to be with us for a great while. So you've got Denzel on one side. You're good there. MJ Emerson this year, it was a struggle for him. He did not play to his best. And I know somewhere, Gibbe, we have the interview I did with him at the very end of the year, and he was very forthright about it, said it was very hard for him. It was the first time he'd really struggled at that level in the NFL. Remember, this guy who had 29 passes defensed in his first 2 seasons, only had 5 this year, did not have an interception, did force a fumble and have a fumble recovery, 80 tackles. Teams went at him a little bit, and I think for a little while he kind of lost his confidence this season.
Yep.
And that was hard on him. That was hard on him. MJ had been one of the top corners in the league. I really thought he was going to break out and become, one of those guys that was a perennial Pro Bowler. Did not happen. The good news is when you look at for MJ, as the season went on, he got significantly better. So we kind of really struggled in the middle portion of the season and then became much more like MJ Emerson at the end of the season. And so that was a good development to see. Physical, never quit, played his butt off. And if anybody is going to do whatever they can to get it right, it's going to be MJ. And I think he'll have a bounce-back year this year. And I know we need him to have a bounce-back year this year, quite frankly. Greg Newsome ended the season on IR, 13 games played. He did have an interception this season. He had 5 passes defensed of his own, 27 tackles. He is in the last year of his deal. They picked up the 5th-year option, $13 million against the cap. Former first-rounder. That's kind of been your trio, right, for the last 3 years.
Yep.
Denzel, MJ, Newsome. You got one more year with that. There could be moves made, but I think you probably have one more year of that trio there. Then you got Cam Mitchell, who played very limitedly this year in terms of being a coverage guy. He did get some snaps, I think, on the season. Let me see how many snaps he ended up getting totally on defense. When you look at our corners, it was a ton of, obviously, Denzel. MJ Emerson played 827 snaps, second most on defense. Denzel, 757. That was 4th most. Newsome was 571. That was 8th. Cam Mitchell played 371 snaps. Did not have as good of a year as I think he had in his rookie year, but was out of the lineup. Somebody that you still believe in, somebody that you believe can help this defense. But, we haven't seen him kind of in that full-time starter role. Miles Harden was the draft pick this year, played 4 games, but not a ton. Didn't play a ton. Tony Harris, he played, and then he ended up on IR with a broken foot. He's more of a special teams guy than a corner. Browns also had Mike Hall Jr., who's much more of a special teams guy than a corner. He played 232 defensive snaps this year. Actually played okay for the Browns while he was out there. And then you got Chigozie Anuzium, who you claimed off of the Washington practice squad in the middle of the season. He did not play much at all. I think he had 8 on defense, played 8 snaps all season, so you didn't really see much from him. So you've got 3 guys that you like. Beyond that, honestly, it's a little bit of, and I said Mike Hall earlier, I believe. Mike Ford is who I meant.
Mike Ford.
Mike Ford, who's more of a special teams guy. He didn't play many snaps either. He's not a great cover guy. So this is a position that's all of a sudden, you've got some guys you like, but Mitchell and Harden are both kind of slot guys. We also have Khalif Halassi, who I like, and I think they like as well, but at one point we released him, brought him back, and he didn't end up playing this year. He's more of an outside corner. So, yeah, this is a room that went from super strength, I would say, to all of a sudden maybe some question marks because you don't know. MJ's in the last year of his deal. Newsome's in the last year of his deal. They'll both be unrestricted free agents in 2026. You've got Cam Mitchell. You've got Harden. Brown's a free agent. I mean, this feels like a position where you definitely need to add some talent in here. And especially if you were to make a move in terms of seeking salary cap relief, which I hope you don't. I hope you keep those three guys together. But if you were to do that, it becomes a pretty big hole considering that you want to play man defense all the time. So that's a look at the room. You got an elite one, but you probably need, and this could come, just bringing in a guy, a veteran that you feel good about on the outside. I think with Mitchell and Harden, you feel pretty good about your, the inside piece behind Greg Newsome, but I do think you need one more outside corner.
Yeah, it as we're going through these, you start to have the conversation about, you think about all the draft picks that you have. There are a lot of things. We didn't get old quick. We're not old, but we definitely got into a situation where our window with certain players, we're up against it a little bit. I mean, this was all set up at the acquisition of Deshaun Watson, that you had a bunch of young players entering their prime all at the same time.
Yep.
And that window, that specific Deshaun Watson window, has come and closed. And so this will be a new look version. This is going to be a build on the fly. It's not going to be a rebuild. It's not going to be a tear down. It's going to be a build on the fly to be competitive. But when you're doing that and you're having this conversation about all of these position groups, and you look at this room and you go, God, a year from now, Emerson and Newsome might both be gone. And so that's kind of the reality of where you are.
If I'm the Browns and I'm able to do so, I sign MJ Emerson to an extension. If you believe that he's going to be able to recapture the form we've seen for 2 years, you're getting him off of the down year, probably lowers the price a little bit, and then you can cross that at least off your list. And I would certainly, the way he competes, everything about him, one of my favorite players on this team. I love that kid, and I think now would be a great time to get him on an extension. But I think you need three quarterbacks. You let DTR compete, obviously, but you need three quarterbacks. I think you need a running back. I think you need one or two wide receivers. You definitely need a tight end. Probably need a couple defensive linemen, one on the edge and one on the interior. You need one or two linebackers, depending on the JOK situation. Mm-hmm. You need one or two corners, as we just talked about. And then in the safety room, Thornhill's in the last year of his deal. His guaranteed money is gone, and due to injury and a variety of factors, hasn't performed at the level that I think he would want or that anybody expected. McLeod retired. So of your top three safeties from a year ago, one is for sure gone. You might be without another, and you'd have, Hickman, DeAnthony Bell, who didn't play much on defense this year, and Delpit, obviously, in that safety room. So, yeah, there's a team with, I think you need a kick returner and a punt returner. This is a team, it all of a sudden has a lot of needs. We went from being, going into last year, you thought you had one of the top rosters in the league, and obviously it didn't play out that way. But I don't know if you think that now. In a year,
I think
a
that's
lot
why
has
it's
changed.
hard questions that are going to have to be asked and answered over the coming days and weeks in advance of free agency, in advance of the draft, is how do you build this thing on a fly? Because before we started this exercise in the corner room, before I looked down and saw unrestricted free agent in 26 on Newsome and Emerson, I'm thinking, okay, well, three young guys, they'll all still go together, but it's not as young as it used to be.
Yeah.
And you need a bunch of them. You need a lot, and you need these picks. These picks need to hit, and you need contributors. If this is going to be a quick turn back into playoff contention, you're going to need some rookies to make an impact.
Yeah,
and because there's just not enough. There's not another way to fill the roster.
Yes, and I think if you're the Browns, I still think scoring is the best way to go. I think that is the best way to get good quickly, is to become a very, very good offense. That's just kind of how I've always believed it.
I agree.
You can sign some pieces on defense. I think you still have some good players on defense, but you got those top 102 picks. You have 5 of them in the first top 102. You need to get players there, and probably more on the offensive side than not.
Weapons, 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 weapons.
Yep.
People, that's throwers, catchers, runners.
Yep.
Give me them.
Yep.
That's just what the league is, and you need a huge influx of talent there. We should give a little bit of flowers to Denzel Ward on his year. He was a Pro Bowler for the 4th time in his career. It's really tough to break into the All-Pro at the cornerback position. It's a loaded room every single time, so he did not record any All-Pro recognition, but was just stupendous this year. He's the best mirror corner in the league. He's validated all of of his where he was drafted and everything that's come with it.
Yep.
And really one of the bedrocks of the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, he is. And I think it goes back to the point that we've been making kind of big picture philosophically, right? I believe it was the full Dorse who sat with us and was like the 5 most important positions, in the league or whatever. Well, we've had, while I've been here, we've had the best offensive tackle in the league perhaps ever in the history of the game in the great Hoff. We've had the best defensive end edge rusher, and the guy that the best offensive tackle said he wouldn't want to face for 1 rep if his life was on the line in Myles Garrett. We've got Denzel Ward, who is an absolutely elite corner. And we have Nick Chubb, who for, I think, a while was certainly the best running back in the league. If not, he was the second best. But
Yep.
And it's all amounted to 1 playoff win and 2 winning seasons because we don't have the quarterback. And we've had good wide receiver play, but we've never had, like, that dude. But I really think that all goes back to the quarterback. So we've got – I mean, we were the number 1 defense in the league last year, and, yes, we made the playoffs, but because we didn't have the quarterback, the thought that – and Flacco did the best he could, but he was prone to turning the football over. And that happened, obviously, in the postseason. It makes it – until we get that, that's why that position, I have 3. I think we need – I think we need – quite a bit at that position, and you're picking second.
Yep.
You're picking second. If I am not taking a quarterback at 2, I think it's got to be a trade back, and then I'm still trying to get, like, McMillan.
Yeah. Or Hunter, a weapon.
A weapon, and then I'm hopefully accumulating assets so that I can go try to make a move the following year. But if I would have a hard time just sitting there unless they thought, Hunter's Tyreek Hill and he's going to elevate anybody, or McMillan's Mike Evans, and it's that definitive.
You have to be that sure.
Yeah. Even if Abdul Carter's that good, if you're scoring 15 points a game, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. You can't consistently win that way. This is a weapons league. I mean, people talk about, look at the Eagles, and, they build it on the lines, and they've got the number 1 defense. Yeah, well, on offense, they have A.J. Brown, they have Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley.
And Jalen Hurts, who
Dallas Goedert,
who is the orchestrator of the most unstoppable short yardage play in the history of this league.
Yep.
As you said yesterday, they start every series 1st and 9.
1st and 9.
Like, that's pretty good.
They have to go 10% fewer yards than every other team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, that's real. And so, yes, they're really good on the 2 lines of scrimmage, but they've got a stud quarterback, one of the best running backs in the league, 2 stud receivers, a stud tight end,
Yeah, and premier talent. Devontae Smith is a premier talent. A.J. Brown's a premier talent. Saquon Barkley's a premier talent. Goddard's a top 5 tight end. Top 6 at worst. And Hurts was probably the worst just pure quarterback left, but he does something, and his skill set is such that, it gives them a big advantage. They had 7 rushing touchdowns in this game. The Cowboys had 6 for the season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
That's the difference, though. That's what you can do when you're them, and they, of no fault of their own, they messed up with Wentz wasn't who they thought he would be, but they've pivoted 2 different times now to get to a situation where they pivoted with Foles, and they pivoted again, and ended up and then they draft Hurts in the 2nd round. Then you have a ton of talent around him. You have a great front. Let's build something that works for him, and they've done it.
Yeah.
So that's the that's the path if you're not picking high.
Yep.
Is that path. And they did it, and they've crushed it. Otherwise, you better have a dude at that position. All right, there you go. There is your cornerback position review with Dr. Z. Coming up next, a couple of more calls. We didn't have a chance to get these yesterday. We ran a little bit out of time. Some fun calls from Championship Sunday. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Let's go live via the NFL Network. Our own Bubba Ventrone down at the Senior Bowl. Let's have a listen.
Practice and just execution and limit the mental errors, limit the mistakes, make the corrections and apply it to the next rep, to the next practice, to the next day. So I'm really excited for our guys. I really am.
I also saw Kevin Stefanski over on the sideline earlier today. Has he mentioned anything to you about maybe trying to find a quarterback down here?
I have a lot of guys that I'm looking at. I really do. I have a lot of guys that I'm looking at. Quarterbacks are some of them. So, yeah, we're excited to evaluate all these talented players.
Have fun out here.
Yeah, my man. Thank you.
All right, another big piece of the talent.
All right, there you go. We got a little. Worked out okay. We got 2 questions. That's a good job.
Well, it was a great job by G-Man.
Yeah.
Just Bubba, apparently he didn't know that we were.
He didn't know that we were dipping in on
yeah,
it. We'd like a couple
we
more.
want a
out
little
of
bit
you.
more. A little
more out of Bubba Ventrone there on that front.
Wouldn't hurt anybody.
Very veteran answer with, are you guys the kind of the cutesy way to ask about quarterbacks? He went straight Stefanski.
Yeah.
I'm evaluating all positions. Looking at a lot of great players.
We got an expansion team.
That's it. Morgan Wallen is bringing his I'm the Problem tour to Huntington Bank Field August 15th and 16th with country sensations Miranda Lambert, Thomas Rhett, Ella Langley. Tickets are on sale January 31st, huntingtonbankfield.com/Morgan Wallen. Don't miss out on this must-see summer show. I got to tell you, the amount of folks who have come up to me about this one.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say.
Exponentially more than the
all of them
Billy
combined.
and Rod's combined.
Yeah, all of them combined.
Like this,
this
the amount of people who have come up to me in the last 48 hours. Hey, you work with the Browns. Can you hook me up with some Morgan Wallen tickets?
Yeah, I think he's playing. I'm pretty sure it's back-to-back nights.
Yeah,
and they'll sell out both nights. Yeah,
I don't.
This is.
Yeah, I don't.
This is a
would
different
I know
level.
his music?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would if I.
This
even
is.
though I don't know
This
the
is
name.
B. Rossi's music.
Oh, he's all over it.
Swag loves it.
Swag's all over Morgan Wallen
oh,
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wasn't he in the news? G-Man loves him. Wasn't he in the news? Kristen Cavallari, the old. I think there was
Cutler flame.
Yeah. Well, wife.
Wife. Yeah. Indeed. More
known
than a flame.
known by us for the Laguna Beach era.
That's right.
Where she was prominently featured.
She was. I think I am 100% convinced to this day that her and Jay Cutler are no longer together because he completely outshone her on Very Cavallari.
For the unencumbered or our relatively new audience, I can't remember which one of us found it. One of us found
I think
it.
I was watching. Yeah, my wife
that's it.
dialed into reality.
And you were like, dude, I'm telling you, I know you're not for this stuff. I know you go to great lengths to make sure this isn't watched in your home. However, I think you're going to want to find this and watch it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not watching reality. I'm not doing it.
Yep.
I'm not. You're like, I'm telling you. So I tuned in, and then I watched him.
He's unreal.
Light the place on fire. Electric, actually. It really was his show.
He should have won an Emmy.
There's no question.
So that makes me nervous for Jarrah. Because
it was very clear that he had no interest in any of it, in the show or any of it, but he just naturally was very charismatic, very dry sense of humor.
Hilarious.
Made fun of her nonstop. Which tickled me.
Yeah.
And I think you are 100% right. That if you have not – I think that show went off the air. I think it's done. But when it was on, I think you nailed it. You and I remember us talking about that several years ago. Like, I think it bugs her.
There's
that
no
he
doubt.
is the star. Like, people were blogging what he was saying on the show.
It was all about him.
It was all about him. I think you're right. I think 100%.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Couldn't take it.
Couldn't take it.
How did we get there?
To Cutler? Because
to Cutler and Cavallari. Morgan Wallen.
We're talking more. Yeah, Morgan Wallen.
All right, let's go back to Championship Sunday. A couple of the other classic calls from this past weekend's game. We will conclude. We started this yesterday, the NFC Championship round of things. Here's Merrill Rees. Mike Quick, the final call as the Eagles head to the Super Bowl on 94 WIP.
Hurts under center one last time. And on to the field come the players from both teams. We will count it down.
This is so beautiful. This
23,
is so beautiful.
22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Players congratulate one another.
Some will. Some will just head to the locker room because there is some bad blood between these two teams.
But I think there's a lot of respect between Nick Sirianni and Dan Quinn.
No question about that.
Zeros on the clock. The flares fly skyward. And the Eagles not just beat, but annihilate the Washington Commanders 55-23. What a day, what a win, what a crowd, what a team, what a season, but it's not over yet.
There you go.
I like the countdown. I like that he was going for that. I think it started early.
I think no
22.
countdown should start before 10.
10. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But I think
or you could say there's 20 seconds left. Chat, and now 10.
10, 9.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Very good. All right, AFC side of things.
I can't believe we're done with Weinstein and Fletcher.
These guys were such a breath of fresh
Oh,
air.
Bram's
weren't
great.
They? He was so excitable.
What is this, third grade?
Oh, just snap it, Jalen. Here's the AFC Championship game. This is Kareem Hunt rushing for a touchdown. Mitch Holthus on 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City.
They give it off. Left side, Kareem Hunt at the 10, angling to the 5, into the end zone, left side, touchdown, Kansas City. It's a 90-yard drive to start the AFC Championship game on a 12-yard run by Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt started it, and then this play all but finishes it. This is Samaje Perine, the third down play that Mahomes hits on the little play action to seal the game for Kansas City. Mitch Holthus on 96.5 The Fan.
3rd and 9, they say, at the Buffalo 35. Buffalo out of timeouts. 1:35 to go in the game. Chiefs lead 32-29. Long count. Chiefs are going to throw it. They throw it in the left flat. Cut! It's Samaje Perine at the 30. First down! And up the left sideline! I love you, Samaje Perine!
Ah, yes. First touch of the game. I feel like it needs to be reiterated again. Just unbelievable. First touch of the game.
Well, they did that with that play, and then they did it with Spags' blitz.
Yeah.
Like no previous.
That's why they won the game. They were better
They're
in the
smarter.
most important moments. That's it. The end.
Finally, here is the final call from Mitch on 96.5 The Fan as the Chiefs head to their third consecutive Super Bowl.
Again, going to a knee. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs being the first team in National Football League history to win back-to-back Super Bowls and go to the Super Bowl for a chance for a three-peat.
I mean,
yes.
That's a little WWE.
I like
that
it.
whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the doubt and disrespect, nobody doubts them.
But there was you pushed back on me when I said it, and again, I was slightly discombobulated in the airport, but you pushed back when I was like, people aren't believing them. And you said, well, they are favored in Vegas, but they weren't even 3 at home. These are the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions. Yeah. The disrespect is real. Nobody wants them to win. And I do
think that's dislike, not disrespect.
But I do think, and we talked about it, I'm pretty sure this bozo right here said at some point, I guarantee they're not winning the Super Bowl. Now I have one shot left to be proven right.
You said that?
Yeah, like in the middle of the season when they played us, they scored 21 points. We turned it over 6 times. They didn't look impressive, but it feels like they almost slow played the season. That's how good they were, and then now they're rationing it up as they get into the important stuff and they're playing their best football. I don't think many people believe that they actually would come out of the AFC this year. You did. You said in the big situations you won't, but they weren't looking like that. They were barely beating anybody. They were barely winning, but they were winning.
They are 17-1 in games that they tried. Mahomes with any extended rest is 30-4 straight up. With any extended rest,
I'm picking them.
All of that stuff.
I will pick them in the Super Bowl.
I hate when people even say it, but I can't think of it better. And it really is. They played a little chess this year. They definitely did. They rope-a-doped a little bit. They got through it. They survived and advanced. They knew. This is the thing that we didn't talk about probably enough because we didn't know how they'd respond to it. But I remember we talked about it a little bit. Dude, they were off basically a month.
Yeah.
Because they took the last week of the regular season off. They didn't play
until
the divisional round.
Yeah.
We said, boy, that's rusty. That's all that. And we said, you know what? They're veterans. They know their
what they're
bodies.
gonna do.
They know what they're going to do.
Yes.
And they've come out, and now here they are again. So, no, it's I'm all for the dislike, no question. Doubt, not many people doubted. And
Hold on a second.
And the disrespect, I don't buy either.
Hold on a second.
Go.
Your children who get
dislike.
Hold on. Wait a second. Didn't you say that they said he was garbage?
That's dislike.
That's disrespect.
Are
That's
we really
the
gonna,
definition of disrespect?
We're going to use Bootsy?
Yes,
as the example.
because he's getting it fed off.
No,
there was
nobody smart is saying that.
Social media was. Oh yeah,
Idiots
everybody
on social.
Fair, but there was real disrespect out there.
Not from anybody real.
Saying somebody's garbage does mean you doubt their abilities.
Idiots
and
on
you're
social
disrespecting them.
are not like people
That's
around
the world
league.
we live in. That's the news source now.
If you choose it to be,
well,
I guess
apparently
that's now you're doing that thing that always used to bug me when athletes do this, when they would be, well, the media says this. There's a difference between message boards, your at mentions, and actual media.
There were a lot of people who I follow on social media that are like credible NFL people who definitely thought the Bills were winning this game.
Well, speaking of news.
I did not. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, no, and neither did I. We both had them. And guess what? They won.
Baker Mayfield will replace Jaden Daniels on the NFC Pro Bowl games roster. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen will be replaced by Drake May and Russell Wilson on the AFC Pro Bowl roster.
Come on, it's
Dude,
a farce.
Snoop was on it.
Well, I played 4 games. Went 2-2 in 4 games.
Pro Bowl quarterback.
It doesn't make it. Baker is deserving of it. Baker had a wonderful statistical season.
They have to figure it. They either have to. I think they should bail on it.
Just enough.
Just be done with it.
Just have it be an honor. It doesn't have to be a game.
That's it. Do it like the NBA and the rest of them have like an NFL honors show, which they do with the MVP, and these are our Pro Bowlers, and this is this, and that way contractually they can do it. And just have here's the list of the guys. You don't need to play the game.
You're also going to have like 10 Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
By the way, hold on a second. You mean to tell me the original 3 were Josh Allen,
Burrow,
and Lamar. Mahomes is not eligible because he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you mean to tell me that Justin Herbert?
I'm sure the rest of them said no.
Think they just say no?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
They just go down the list?
Yeah, I'm sure they're like, dude, I'm already golfing. I'm in the Maldives.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
Herbert was 11-6, 66% completions, 4,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 3 picks. Russell Wilson, what are we talking about?
Dude, Hundley made it.
I know. That was
former Pro Bowl MVP Justin Herbert.
It's done. Like it's over. It's cooked. I don't know if there's a chance now.
Like this is going to be Russell Wilson's 10th Pro Bowl appearance. So when we look at those things, that doesn't mean it's ridiculous.
When we were in Hawaii last spring, I drove by like Aloha Stadium. Wow. You want to talk about state of disrepair?
I bet it looks like Last of Us.
It looks exactly like Last of Us. Yeah, it
That's
looks
sad.
It was like, oh no. Like a swap meet going on in the parking lot. I was like, wow,
man.
this is tough sledding.
That takes me back to my youth at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
I do wonder if there was something to, I don't know if you could replicate that era of the Pro Bowl, whereas it was enough for players to have like an all expenses paid trip for them and their family to Hawaii to stay at a resort for a week and practice and then play a game. Like that was enough. Like it seems like that isn't enough anymore. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though, because when we talk about players and we talk
it
about
used to also be real quick. I just remember this used to be well after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because like the Niners were in it. They'd win the Super Bowl, but then you'd see Jerry in the jersey and they'd run around. And I don't remember anybody getting hurt.
Sean Taylor put a walloping on somebody, as I recall.
I'm talking about when we were kids, like when it was in Hawaii. Like I don't remember anybody getting.
The only person I ever remember getting hurt was I want to say. Like a Donnie Edwards.
Robert Edwards in a sand game,
sand
shredded his knee.
Yeah, in a sand.
Out of Georgia, played for the Patriots, shredded it playing sand football and, beach football.
Yeah.
But, like, in the actual Pro Bowl game, I don't.
No. Here's the reason why I think it's getting to the ridiculous level. Like, when we go back and we talk about Hall of Famers cases, obviously you and I, we skew towards all pro, but it matters. Like,
especially at quarterback.
It matters how many Pro Bowls they have as well. And now, so Justin Herbert's just going to be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want it. Because the guys that were in but don't go, they still get it.
Yes.
So to me, Justin Herbert, you would want that. I mean, how bad can it be to go down there and throw a few passes?
Is it still in
practice?
Vegas?
It's either in Vegas or in Florida.
I don't know where it is.
Like, Herbert's only been in the Pro Bowl once in his career, 2021. He hasn't been in the Pro Bowl since. The guy was... The year he throws for 4,739 yards and 25 touchdowns, 70% completions, doesn't make the Pro Bowl.
Back in Orlando this year, by the way.
Yeah, he hasn't made the Pro Bowl since 21. So for a guy like that, why wouldn't you want to get another Pro Bowl on your resume? I don't know. It's ridiculous. Or the guys who are the alternates that get in.
Same.
It's too much.
Either that or they're not Pro Bowls. They're like alternate Pro Bowls.
This
There
just
has to be some sort of designation.
So I know that the media talked with Andrew Berry and Zach Jackson and Mary Kay Cabot 3 minutes ago. Both said that Andrew Berry says he won't trade Myles Garrett, not even for two first-round picks. They won't listen to any offers, and they are not trading him.
That's emphatic. I think we're going to hear from AB. Coming up next, take a look at Daniel Jeremiah's first mock draft as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, let's head down to the Senior Bowl. Andrew Berry meeting with reporters down in Mobile. He was asked about his meeting with Shadur Sanders, and did he, in terms of his participation in the Shrine Bowl as well. Here is Andrew on that.
Really well. Shadur he's a very impressive young man. He's poised, he's calm, he's smart. You can tell that he's been raised by, really honestly, a Hall of Fame dad. It was. Look, we're going to get to know him even more over the course of the spring, but he's really impressive.
So yeah, the report that said you told Shadur not to participate in the tournament. Is that true?
I don't know where that report came from. That's not a request that we made. That being said, I want to be clear. That would have no bearing in terms of whether he participated or not. That has no bearing in terms of how we think of it. But I don't know.
Okay, now I understand, Gibby. What you mean about ambient?
That makes sense. Quite a bit of music.
There's a lot going on. So that was in regard to Shadur Sanders, who the Browns met with, and there was some reporting over the weekend that the Browns had asked him not to participate in the actual Shrine Bowl practices. He shot that down quite quickly. He was asked, do the QBU draft, the QBU signing free agent have to be the same skill set? Do you want a room in which all have the similar skill set? Here was Andrew Berry on that.
No, do not. We really that's part of the offensive staff's job, and why Kevin, Tommy, we feel really good about them. It is to adjust to the strengths of your quarterback, because if you're just that narrow, you're gonna sacrifice quality for style. It's hard enough to find high level starters, and then you go backwards all the way. We just can't afford to be that perhaps that narrow minded.
Where do you sit on that?
I don't think they all have to have the same skill set. I think if you're running an offense that was like when Baltimore was really running an offense like with Lamar, where then they brought in RG3, you had Huntley, you need somebody who could run that particular offense. I think the skill set that should be the same is they can process, they can identify where the ball is supposed to go, and deliver the football on time and accurately. That to me, and they've got to be, obviously you have to be tough, but you've got to be a quick processor, and you've got to be able to deliver the football on time and accurately to all levels of the field. If you can do that, you can play in any system.
Yeah.
So I do think on some level that at the core, which is the ultimate success to playing quarterback in the NFL, I think is one part of it. But you can have a guy that, for example, Shadur is very athletic, but he's not a runner like Lamar or even Jaden Daniels. Whereas you could also have Justin Fields in the room or a Dan Dimes, who actually are much more of runners. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then, you could have a Will Howard or a Quinn Ewers who are athletic enough to pick up a first down when they need to, but you're not running designed quarterback runs.
Right.
So I think that I don't think you have to have the same skill set in there. I think that at the core, to be successful in this league, you have to have certain traits at the quarterback position. I think that's pretty proven. And now I would add to one of those traits, be able to extend plays with your legs and extend drives with your legs. You don't have to be Lamar or even Daniels, but Mahomes is one of the best when they need him to go run for a first down. He can do it. Bo Nix certainly can do it. Jaden Daniels can do it. We know Jalen Hurts can do it, and he's more of a designed run guy, he and Daniels. Herbert can do it. All of them can do it. The days of – and Peyton was a much better athlete than people realize. The game was just different then as well.
Yeah.
And Brady could run when he had to, but wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to, at the right time, be able to. And these guys are athletes. Joe Burrow's an athlete. He had a 49-yard touchdown run, I think, against the Giants this year. You don't think of him as a runner, but they're able to extend plays out of structure and make plays with both their arm and their legs to extend drives. So, yeah, those are the things you need to have.
It's like anything. If you you look at like a ratings of a player.
Yeah.
If you aren't super accurate, then you better be super fast.
Yep.
If you're not an ultra quick processor, you better be ultra quick, you better be accurate, and you better have a hose. Like there's a combination of give and take. There's not everybody. It's so rare that somebody clicks all of those things off. Very rare. The great ones do.
Sure.
But by and large, like there's going to be give and take with any prospect. Shadur Sanders, the way I've seen a lot of him play the last 2 years. A lot of Caleb Williams play. There's a lot of Caleb Williams in his game. Very similar. The way they went about it, the way that they would extend plays, sometimes to a fault, trying to wait for something to develop. You'll see when you study him, when you watch him play at Colorado, he knows he's got Travis Hunter, so sometimes he holds on to and tries to make things happen down the field. That
he seems very accurate in structure.
He's wildly accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate in structure.
Yeah.
Wildly.
Which is what you want.
He's pinpoint on all of that. I think there were some bad habits, much with Caleb, that were developed over trying to make something happen when you feel up against it. When you know the defense is going to give up points, you don't have the best offensive line, and so you try to make things happen on your own. So I think some bad habits developed there. But in terms of his accuracy, it's off the charts, and really Caleb is a pretty close doppelganger for him. I'm not saying he's as good a prospect as Caleb was coming out of USC, because Caleb was the universal best prospect coming out of last year's draft at the position.
Yep.
But playing style, a lot of similarities. So that's kind of where that sits on that. But no, he is very much everything you would think Kevin would want in terms of accurate, balls out quick, good enough arm, like all of those boxes. I would think it would check. Jalen Milroe is down there. I look forward to AB answering this. Here's AB on Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart.
Jalen, we obviously have a lot of familiarity with Tommy from a personal level. From a physical level, like there's really nothing that he can't do. High-level athlete, really strong arm. He has been really a bit of a self-made man in terms of developing from the pocket throughout his Alabama career. I think it's hard not to envision some of the things he'll be able to do at the NFL level when you watch Sunday and see some of these dual threat guys. So he's got immense potential. He's a really hard worker. So interested to see obviously what he does this week. And then in terms of Jackson, high level processor, really good anticipation. He's accurate. He really pounds the middle of the field, like that's really his game, and he probably has some understated mobility. So they've both been highly productive players in college. They've had good tutelage where they've been, and I would expect both of them to have really strong legs in the league.
All right, there you go on Milroe and Dart. I would think, honestly, based just on like traits, that Dart would be closer. Milroe is not particularly accurate.
No, and there's clips of him coming out and one-hopping balls down in the Senior Bowl. He's got the small hands, unfortunately. I think that there's a lot of dot connecting. Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. He can give us thorough review, but at the end of the day, this is going to be Stefanski, Andrew Berry going and getting the quarterback that they want.
It's important to note, too, that Tommy Rees did not recruit Jalen Milroe to Alabama. He came into that situation, and actually, read into this what you will, it's just the facts of the matter. He actually brought Tyler Buckner from Notre Dame with him to quarterback at Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea. Milroe was great the 1 year with Tommy. It was easily his best year. But just in terms of what he did this year at Alabama and how it fits from an NFL perspective, he was a tremendous runner. He's got a big, big arm in terms of throwing it down the field, great arm strength. But even this year at Alabama, it's 64%. It's 2,800 yards. It's 16 touchdowns and 11 picks. It's another 800 on the ground, but it's like this isn't Justin Fields coming out of Chicago or out of Ohio State. It's not that type of passing at all.
No.
So, yeah, it just, to me, whereas Jackson Dart has a little bit of that stuff. The thing that's curious about Dart is they had a lot of talent at Ole Miss this year, and they had some stupefying losses. Of all of the teams in the top 25 who had talent that was dangerous to the rest of college football, had some quality wins, and they did. They beat Georgia. They had quality wins.
Big wins.
But they have some bad losses. They lost to early on in the season, they lost to Kentucky. I think they lost to Tennessee, G-Man. Who else did Ole Miss lose to? They had 3 losses. No, it wasn't. It was 3 losses that were just like, how do you lose those 3 games? Did they maybe lose to Vanderbilt the week after beating Georgia? Or was that Alabama?
Lost Alabama. Vanderbilt
beat
beat
here
Alabama.
it is. I got it. All right. So, that's 2000.
Kentucky, Florida, and LSU.
The Florida LSU losses. LSU, they never trailed until the end. The LSU
that was an
game.
overtime
Nussmeier beat them. Nussmeier's throw in overtime, and I think it was on 4th down was the play that beat them. And then they lost to a bad Florida team.
So they lost to 27-18 to Kentucky. Dart in that one was 18-27 for 261, a touchdown, no picks. They lost to LSU in that game. It was 24-42 for 284, a touchdown and a pick. and they lost to Florida. He was 24 of 41 for 323, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. His best games were against Furman.
That doesn't count.
4-18 and 5.
He's good in the
against
Georgia.
Oklahoma, 73% completions, 311 and a touchdown. Arkansas, 80% completions, 515, 6 touchdowns, no picks.
Crush the Hogs.
Georgia, 13 of 22, 59%, 199, 1 and 1.
And then big and Duke in the bowl
Mississippi
game.
State was not a big one. It was 14 of 24, 143 and a touchdown. Yeah, went big against Duke. His biggest games were Duke, Arkansas, Georgia Southern, and Furman.
You got to throw the first 2 out entirely.
In fact, let me take it a step further. 19 of his 29 passing touchdowns came in those 4 games.
Yeah. So that means he was 10 touchdowns, 6 picks, and the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10
always
touchdowns,
do this
5 picks.
Always do this in college.
Yep. You
always do.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Look at the like comparison. All right. Who are the tough? How did he play in the toughest schemes he played against?
In fact, he only threw multiple touchdowns against Florida and Wake Forest. One against Mississippi State, one against Georgia. Go ahead, G-Man.
That Florida game, he threw a back-breaking pick.
He did.
And, with a minute
that
and
was
a
in
half
the swamp.
left.
Yeah.
In the swamp, yeah.
He definitely can run a little bit. 495 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, we'll have to watch that. But that's concerning. 19 of his 29 touchdowns came against nothing.
So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, there you go. A little bit of Senior Bowl action. Bubba down there, AB down there. A couple of comments from the boss
Jacques
man.
Césaire, Siciliano. I saw a picture of Stefanski and Vrabel hanging out together on the sidelines.
Yeah, there were a little bit of conversation there. We'll get a full breakdown from Siciliano. He'll have it. He'll have it all.
Yeah, he's gonna have it all.
Get that all sorted out.
I believe that's Thursday.
Thursday?
Is that right, Gibba?
G-Man.
What's Thursday?
Just say
30,
yes.
30.
Yes.
Maybe it's Friday. Could be Friday.
Gibby's overlooking everything. What are they asking? Did they just ask if the weekend's on Thursday?
Gibby, we're doing a show.
Maybe.
Be locked in.
Maybe. Next Level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.